Princess Liora of the planet Virellia stood upon the crystal balcony of her skybound palace, watching twin suns dip beneath a sea of mist. Her violet eyes glimmered with restrained disdain as court musicians played below, serenading nobles and dignitaries who had gathered to witness her selection ceremony. In Virellian custom, when a royal came of age, suitors from across the galaxy would gather to win their favor. But Liora was not interested in love. "Romance is a chemical delusion," she once told the Council of Elders. "Love weakens the mind. I will marry only for the benefit of the Empire." She had never known tenderness. Raised under pressure, sculpted into a diplomatic weapon, Liora was brilliant, strategic, and unyielding. Love was a myth for weaker species, or at least, that's what she had always believed. Then came Earth's representative. He didn't arrive in a gleaming battleship or wear ceremonial jewels. No, the human ambassador, Commander Elias Hart, walked off a modest cruiser, his posture firm but not arrogant, his gaze steady and curious. He wore a simple dark uniform and carried no weapons. In the grand hall, he bowed politely and offered her a strange object, a red rose. "What is this?" she asked, nose wrinkling. "A symbol of Earth's appreciation," he replied. "It's called a rose. It blooms even in rough soil." Liora took it with a frown, unsure whether to laugh or crush it. Over the following weeks, the suitors tried desperately to impress her. One flew a comet through the Virellian rings in her name. Another presented a moon-sized diamond carved into her likeness. But none could crack her icy detachment. Elias, however, didn't compete in the same way. He asked questions. "You don't believe in love?" he asked one evening as they stood near a stardrop waterfall in the royal gardens. "No," she said firmly, hands clasped behind her back. "It clouds judgment. Love is sacrifice, and sacrifice invites loss." Elias gave a thoughtful nod. "But love also inspires courage. People have crossed galaxies for it." Liora scoffed. "Then they are fools." He smiled, unoffended. "Maybe. But I think there's strength in that kind of foolishness." The Council of Elders grew impatient. They demanded Liora make her selection before the Solar Convergence. Pressure mounted, and so did whispers, rumors that she was stalling because of the human. But she refused to give them credence. Yet, Elias lingered in her thoughts. He didn't worship her. He challenged her. She began looking for him in the palace halls, engaging him in debates about strategy and politics. He'd often bring her Earth literature, Shakespeare, Poe, even Earth's ancient fairy tales. She called them primitive, but she read every word. One night, under Virellia's moonshade blossoms, Elias sat beside her on a quiet bench. "You seem tired, Princess." "I'm tired of pretending," she admitted quietly. "Tired of being what everyone expects." Elias didn't say anything. Instead, he reached into his coat and handed her a tiny silver cube. "What is it?" "A music box," he said. "Earth's technology is crude compared to yours, but open it." She did, and soft piano notes filled the air. A human lullaby, gentle, unfamiliar, and yet soothing. "You brought this for me." "I did," Elias said. "Because even someone who doesn't believe in love deserves to feel cared for." Something cracked within her then, not a collapse, but a shift, like tectonic plates realigning. The next day, she announced she would make her decision during the Solar Convergence, now only days away. That night, Liora dreamed of dancing on Earth. In her vision, she was wearing a flowing blue dress, her bare feet pressing into soft grass, and Elias held her hand, not like a subject, not like a suitor, but as an equal. When she woke, her heart was pounding. She tried to bury the feeling. Logic, strategy, duty. These were her pillars. But something had changed. The Solar Convergence arrived. The whole empire gathered in the sky arena, where the planets aligned in a breathtaking cascade of light and gravity. Liora, dressed in ceremonial armor laced with stardust threads, walked to the center platform. One by one, the suitors stepped forward. She rejected them all. Then Elias stepped forward, unexpected, uninvited. The crowd murmured in disbelief. He knelt, not as a formality, but with sincerity. "I know you don't believe in love," Elias said, his voice strong but gentle. "And I'm not asking you to change overnight. But I've seen your strength, your brilliance, your fire. And I've also seen your loneliness." Lyra's lips parted slightly, her chest tightening. "I've crossed stars to be here," Elias continued, rising to his feet. "Not to conquer, not to bargain, but to offer something improbable. A choice. If you ever decide love is more than myth, let it be with someone who sees you." Then, from his pocket, he produced a simple earth-made ring. No gem, no alien glow, just a circle of steel. "I'm not a prince. I'm not Virellian. But I would walk beside you, not behind you. Marry me, not for the empire, but for yourself." The entire arena fell into stunned silence. And then, something miraculous happened. Lyra laughed. Not a cold chuckle. Not a diplomatic smile. A real laugh, light and free, the kind of sound she didn't know she could make. "You are an idiot," she whispered. "I've been called worse," he replied, grinning. She stepped forward. The crowd gasped. With a voice that carried like song through crystal air, she said, "I don't believe in love, yet. But perhaps I believe in you." The council was horrified. The nobles protested. But Lyra didn't flinch. She took Elias's hand and stood beside him in front of the galaxy. "I will not choose based on tradition," she declared. "I will build something new. Not for the empire. For me." Months passed. Against all odds, their bond deepened. Elias stayed, learning Virellian customs while teaching her Earth stories. Lyra softened, but never lost her edge. She remained a fierce ruler, but one now guided by compassion as well as strategy. And one evening, as the sun set again and she stood once more on her balcony, Elias joined her. She didn't say a word. Instead, she opened the little music box. The lullaby played. And she finally whispered, "I think I love you." Elias smiled. "Then I guess love isn't so impossible after all."